Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So today we're looking at the Pauri number 36. So we started looking at the 5 stages of enlightenment, where Guruji said that the goal is to become Panch, which is that saintly figure who is completely merged with that divine. And Guru started by talking about the steps that you need to become self-realized. So Guru started by saying that Dharamkhand was the first step, which is where you realize the purpose of your life, and Dharamkhand allows you to alter your self-perception, and you make the first step to walking on that path. Then comes Gyan Khand, which is the state of awakening. And so there your awareness moves away from yourself more into the wider story being told. Life isn't about yourself anymore. You see life as the great unfolding. So you move from self-praise to divine praise. And Guruji begins this verse by just summarizing that last phase by saying Gyan Khand Meh Gyan Prachand. So in the state of awakening, Gyan Khand Meh Gyan Prachand, wisdom radiates. So here the word Prachand means a really bright, powerful light that radiates everywhere, illuminates all. So Guru is saying that wisdom is this light. Within this state you have this divine wisdom that's illuminating the mind of the seeker. So what we see is that you have this heightened awareness that's beyond yourself, where we can say that we have normal awareness. Guru is saying that this is a very high state of awareness where it's like this bright, radiant light. And how do we get to Gyan? How do we get this wisdom? Well, in the Indian traditions, in the North Indian languages, we say that Gyan is the opposite of Agyan. So wisdom is the opposite of non-wisdom, of ignorance. So in order to get this wisdom, we have to overcome Agyan, which is this individual identity. So if we're living in our own minds, in our own selves, thinking about ourselves all the time, if we think we are the center of the universe, that is Agyan, that's our ignorance. As soon as we move past that, when we get this wider realization, then we're getting into this radiance, this light of wisdom. And Guruji says, Gyan Khand Meh Gyan Prachand, Tithe Naad Binod Kod Anand. So the word Naad here is sounds, vibrations, melodies. Binod in Punjabi would be translated into tamashe, in English we might say theatrics, performances. There, various sounds and theatrics bring innumerous bliss. So, your understanding, your awareness, your perception of life has now been altered so drastically that your mind is radiating. And most of us have spent all of our lives in our own thoughts, in our own worries, and this has only caused us suffering. This has only caused us grief and misery. And we walk around in life with the idea that life is yours. It's your life and you can control your life. You control how you live. And in doing that, we've got so caught up in the idea of control and worrying about what's going to happen next, always worrying about what the outcome of the next day is going to be like, that in doing that you miss something. You miss the beauty of all the sights and sounds and the wonders that are happening around you right now. So life has been living and you've been missing out. And now, in Gyan Khand, you've let go of that self-perception, that self-worry all the time. And because of that you shine. You begin to watch the whole world as though it's a movie, as though it's a show being played out in front of you, with lots of interesting characters, lots of interesting sights and sounds, lots of plot changes as the story continues to unfold. So life becomes blissful when you're no longer in the driving seat. You're just taking a back seat. You've got no plans, no expectations, no idea of reaching some grand destination at the end. You're just enjoying the view, just enjoying the ride. Now we can take this analogy of someone going on a long journey and driving. That's how we've lived our life. We've all spent so long in control, driving in the driver's seat, that now it's quite hard for us to let go of this driver's seat. Because within that driving, within that sense of control in our own life, we think that we can actually steer our lives towards happiness. That's what everyone's trying to do. As long as you're in control, you can choose the direction. And if you lose control, you don't know what direction life is going to take you. But what we don't realize is that in that control is suffering, and real happiness doesn't come when you continue to control your life and take it to a particular direction. Real happiness comes when you let go of the control. So let's take the analogy. If you're going for a long drive along a really scenic route, you as the driver is not the one who's enjoying the scenery because you're driving. So everyone else around you is sitting and enjoying the ride, but you're the one driving, so you have no time to enjoy the scenery. And in the same way, when you get really tired, you don't see it as a stressful thing to let someone else drive. In fact, it's a relief. You can now sit back and you can enjoy the view. And in the same way, we haven't understood that we've been driving for so long in our own lives that we've never actually enjoyed the life itself. Everyone else seems to be really happy and you're still trying to get somewhere. You're still trying to find that happiness. But the happiness doesn't come by continuing to drive. The happiness comes by letting go, by moving away from the driver's seat. But it's so hard for us to do that because we've been driving for so long. So because we don't understand how to get real happiness, what we've done is we've conceded to just enjoying temporary happiness. We've just found happiness in trivial things, and as far as we know, that's all that happiness is just keeping yourself busy, keeping yourself entertained with some small happiness, and then we all know that that happiness fades away, so then we go and look for the next one. So we don't know that there is this kind of permanent bliss. We've just got accustomed to very temporary, impermanent bliss. And we've got used to the idea that this bliss wears off. Happiness is always wearing off. And Guru is saying that if we can get to Gyan Khand, then we can experience immeasurable bliss. Tithe Naad Binod Kod Anand. We can get countless bliss. But what is it about this Gyan Khand? What is it about wisdom that can get us bliss? In the Anand Sahib, which is written by the third Guru, Guru Amar Das Ji, Guruji actually talks about this in a bit of detail. How do we get this bliss? So in the 7th verse of Anand Sahib, Guru Amar Das Ji says, Anand, Anand sab ko kahe, Anand Guru te janiya. Bliss, bliss. Everyone talks of having bliss, but bliss is only known through the Guru. Janiya Anand sada gurte kripa kare pyarya. Bliss can be known forever through the Guru if the beloved grants this grace. So what's this grace that the Guru is going to give us this permanent bliss? Kar kirpa kilvik kate gyan anjan sarya. By bestowing grace, it cuts away our sins, kilvik kate, And the Guru places the eyeliner of wisdom. Guru places an eyeliner. Guruji uses this very specific word called anjan, which is this eyeliner that you place. And Guru is saying that the Guru will place the eyeliner of divine wisdom. So some wisdom is placed on your eyes. It's very specific what Guru is saying here. What Guru is saying, that what does wisdom do is that it changes the way you see the world. It changes your very perception of life, and it is this perception change that brings bliss. And we think that us being in control, that's a perception that we're holding on to. Us being in control, we think, is us steering our lives towards bliss. But we have to change that perception, change the way we think. Let the Guru be the one to decide how we see the world. And that's where Guru says that this is the way to get permanent bliss. And so with this new perception, with this new way of looking at life, life and death are both seen as bliss. Rich and poor, up or down, everything is seen as a drama. And this is what Guruji uses, this word binod, this theatrics. The whole world just becomes a show. Now, if we were able to get just to this level of being able to detach ourselves from the driving seat of our own life, if we were able to just get here, for most of the world, this would be more than enough. The whole world is in agony right now. The whole world is lost in so much pain and suffering because we're locked in the prison of our own mind. And so we're struggling to deal with ourselves, we're struggling to deal with our mind, we're struggling to deal with control, and we're facing a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety. So if we were blessed with the right perception, just to change the way we see the universe, change the way we see life and how we deal with life, that would be a life-changing experience for most of us. But then the question arises is, how do we sustain that wisdom? How do we avoid slipping back into the allure of getting back into the driver's seat, getting back into our own attachments, being attached to the physical world, to Maya? So this is what Guruji now explains in the third stage of Saram Khand. Let's start by looking at the word Saram itself. Now, Gurbani scholars have suggested many different meanings of the word Saram and then interpreted Saram Khand accordingly. The word Saram can mean effort, it can mean humility, shame, taken from the word sharam. It can also mean detachment, and it can even mean bliss. So in Sanskrit, in some places the word saram means bliss. So you can see that there is no one specific way to translate this word saram. But we can look at where else in Japji Sahib we've come across this word before. We saw in Pauri 28, Munda Santok Saram Pat Choli. And there we translated saram to mean effort or humble effort. Munda Santok, make your earrings of contentment, and your effort, your begging bowl. And if we look at all the different translations and all the different interpretations of the word saram, there are two main interpretations that are sort of prevalent. One is that saram means honor, that you are protecting your honor, your laj. And the way that you protect your honor, and what we mean by that is that if you come from a respectable family, part of being religious means that you continue the traditions of your parents and your grandparents and your ancestors. That way nobody can actually say that you yourself have put a stain on your ancestry. That sort of honor is what we're talking about. And the way that you would do that is that you would perform all the right actions. You would do all the right things. You would live a very respectable life. so that nobody kind of goes back to you and says this is something that you are doing that is affecting your ancestry, your lineage. Another of the main prevalent translations of saram is effort, that you do a humble effort to live the right way. So both of these are talking about doing good actions, that you somehow commit to remaining on this path of righteousness and living a lifestyle of dharam. So we can translate the word saram to mean endeavor, doing the right thing.